Yo, happy Thanksgiving. Matt, we had this one going up a little bit early, obviously, with the Thanksgiving games. Always a blast to have them, but
Yep.
games start at noon tomorrow, or 1 o'clock Eastern, so we can't get it up at the normal time. So we are posting this a little bit earlier than normal. Obviously, next week it'll go back to our normal schedule, but we saw another guy get suspended, but not for spitting this time, Matt, for punching another man in the cojones.
Nice
That's
little
a no-no.
uppercut.
Can't do that one. Everyone was wondering why Jennings was so hot at the end of the game too. I was kind of wondering like, what the hell did that guy do? And then we saw the slow mo, and it's like, yeah, that was a cock punch. That was that
Nice,
was
nice
that's
shot.
yeah, that was a good one. But besides the Eagles, the Eagles losing obviously is upsetting. But then you see Chip Kelly get fired again in his career, and it's just like, life's good. I'm all right. Like that's okay. We could take a loss. That's fine. I told you it was the Cowboys Super Bowl in that game. That's all they cared about the whole season, even if they don't make playoffs, which they won't. But Chip Kelly's fired, so it's like life is good again. But going into Week 13, Matt, we have a lot of people coming back. Some really big names as well. I mean, one to start us off because I know you got a whole list of them, but Joey B. Joey
Yeah,
B.
it's really good to see Burrow actually. I'm glad they held him out last week because on a short week going from Sunday to Thursday. So yeah, great to see. It sucks that the season is kind of done for the Bengals, but love to see him coming back and want to see him light it up on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And then what do we have? We have Bucky Irving.
Yes, sir. Bucky, full participant. Everything looks like it's all good for him now. Um, Exciting to see for the Bucks. Well, especially if you have the transition from whether Baker's going to actually play or not with his left shoulder injury.
Yep.
Two other guys coming out of IR. We'll see Darren Waller. He's practicing again.
Touchdown machine.
Yep. Yeah, he was starting to come alive. So it's good to see him coming back. And then how about the rookie Hampton? He's back to practicing. So hopefully he comes back this week. If not, the following.
Yeah, and the Bucks and the Chargers both obviously getting a big running back, and they're both kind of in that same part of the season where they're dropping a couple games, but they're still right there in the playoff hunt. So it could be a massive change for them going forward, especially towards this back half of the season. With that being said, we are 12 weeks through. After 6 weeks through, we brought up the stats. So this is one of the weeks that we will be bringing up top 5 passer, top 5 rusher, all that good stuff, and then look at the standings. So we'll get right into that. Drake May at the top here. So Matt, we mentioned it. Kind of the sneaky ones that you don't think about that are on here are Mahomes and Daniel Jones. We know the Colts are winning and getting the job done, but you wouldn't expect that he's got these numbers up here with some of these big names. But you talk about guys that are slinging at Prescott and Stafford. I mean, you expect them to be on this list here. But I definitely think we both agree Mahomes being number 2 is a little bit sneaky on the stats. If you ask me, I wouldn't even have maybe made him on my top 5 if I had to guess off the top of my head.
Yeah,
So
nothing flashy, but obviously, he's getting it done.
yeah,
And then like you said, with Daniel Jones, with the running game so predominant, with JT just absolutely
yeah, it just
dominating,
shocked me. Yep.
it's weird to see those numbers still out of him. But I mean, that's why they're 8-3 right now. So that's why. It's because you have both phases right there, running game and Daniel Jones throwing the ball.
Yep, absolutely. And then top 5 rushers, obviously JT and James Cook. We talked about them a couple weeks ago. But Javonte Williams sneaking into the top 5 here. I mentioned to you before, we started with Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs has had a couple really explosive weeks, but other than that, I mean, he's been held to under 50 multiple times this season. So for him to be number 3, I mean, it goes to show you how big of an explosive runner he is, kind of that boomer bust when it comes to the rushing. But and then Devon Achane at number 4, which I mean, not a lot going on for that Miami team, so at least he's somewhere up on there.
Yep.
But JSN, dude, still just crushing it at the top. Number 1. But I mentioned it to you with Pickens. I kind of called it. Hold on to him. Even with Lamb coming back healthy, because I really feel like he can be. It just opens him up even more, and he was very dominant without Lamb. So I told you, I mean, Pickens and Dak Prescott really have just, built that trust together that he just trusts him down the field just to bomb it down there. And there's a reason that both those guys are on here. And then obviously you got Puka, even with him missing all those games. And then I feel like Mr. St. Brown here is literally the most consistent guy.
Just yep,
He
epitome of
do
consistency.
70 yards a game, and there's no doubt about it, right? I mean, he is awesome. Besides when he plays the Eagles and they shut him down.
What I will say about Pickens real quick though is Pickens is a head case, right? And so that's the thing that kind of pushed him away. Cowboys took a chance on him. Him getting those reps and him getting those yards as wide receiver 1 when Lamb was gone, I think set him up for success the rest of the season because now he's kind of feeling it instead of being, when am I going to get the ball? Am I going to be productive? So I think this shows it right here is that he's got that confidence.
Yeah, and I don't think they have him super long term either. So that's gonna be a really interesting thing of like they're not gonna be able to pay both because Jerry's not gonna want to pay both. So he's kind of setting himself up. He's still, I think, 24, maybe 25. So he's kind of setting himself up to go get a real juicy contract somewhere that needs number 1 wide receiver and not have to worry about that dramatic on field. That's the problem, right? Is on field, issues.
Just shutting down, yeah.
Yeah. And then you got Jamar Chase with Joe Flacco at number 5. But we didn't bring up sacks last time, but we thought it was going to be interesting to bring up sacks this time because of the man at the top here. The man at the top here is a name that's being tossed around a lot because he's getting very, very close to the NFL sack record, which is 22.5. So he is 5 sacks off the NFL record with, a lot of games left. So, I mean, I think he can get it done. I'm on the page that he can 100% get it done. And then, some of the dominant names on here are also Brian Burns, Daniel Hunter, Will Anderson, and Micah Parsons. Then we got the AFC standings, which who would have thought the Patriots are just blowing everyone else out of the water in the AFC East there. The AFC North really shaping up to be crazy here because we saw the Ravens go 2-5, 1-5, something like that, and then to be back up to 6-5 here at the top.
Yeah, I think they're on a 5. I think it's a 5-game win streak right now.
Which we talked about it. They had the highest odds there for even after they were 1-5 or 2-5, whatever it was. So I mean, good for them. Denver's really running away with the division there in the AFC West. And then honestly, the Jags are kind of sneaking up on the Colts. Like we talked about how dominant the Colts are, but the Colts have dropped 2 games recently. And it's starting to look like it might be a race there in the AFC South, something to keep an eye on. And then the NFC side of things, the Eagles and the Bears at the top of their divisions. The Eagles, NFC East, it's pretty wide open even after losing to Dallas. I mean, a lot would have to go Dallas's way for them to be able to take the division from there. But the NFC North still absolutely wide open besides the Vikings. NFC West, literally one of the strongest divisions in football right now. Some of the most dominant receiving groups that we're seeing in the NFC West there with some of the big names. And then the NFC South is just going to be a scramble with how the Panthers are playing. And then like you mentioned with the Bucks maybe not going into this week with Baker. I mean, who knows? My bet he's still going to play, but you never really know. I mean, if it lingers on and it could really affect the way Buccaneers season plays out the rest of the year. And then just a quick playoff picture. It's only after week 12, but if the playoffs did start, I don't think any of us would have had the Patriots at number 1 seed, and any of us would have the Rams at the number 1 seed, right? Crazy.
No way, yeah.
Crazy. So there would be a lot of interesting matchups. One matchup that I love to see is the number 5, number 4 seed for the Seahawks Buccaneers. Another shootout with some vintage jerseys on, man. That'd be sick, dude.
Let's see.
That'd be absolutely sick. We didn't forget about my fun stats. We just wanted to get that out of the way first. We got some good ones for you. We're going to go back to this screen real quick. It's going to get weird on us. But we just mentioned Myles Garrett, Matt, right? So the NFL sack leader, obviously, Myles Garrett at number 1 with 18 sacks. Myles Garrett in the last 4 games has 13 sacks, which ties the second leader in sacks, which is Brian Burns with 13 sacks.
That's impressive. And
in 4 games, he's got Brian Burns's NFL total right now.
And it depends on what offenses he goes up against. He's still just breaking through no matter what. It's impressive.
Yeah, it's very, very, very dominant. And then we had to throw this one in for you. Gibbs. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs delivered an all-time stat line. Very fast. All-time stat line, though, in overtime win over the Giants. 219 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 11 catches, a receiving touchdown. He joins LT as the only player in NFL history to rush for 200 yards and have 10 plus receptions in the same game. I mean, just
I love to be, he's in the company of LT, he's the premier back you think of is that receiving back and dominant rushing. So I love that he's in that company now.
yeah, it's just pure dominance. If you went up against the fantasy, I'm sorry. And then we joked around with Davante Adams, but this is just insane to see the distances on Davante Adams' last 8 touchdowns: 1 yard, 1 yard, 2 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 1 yard, 1 yard, 2 yards. Best goal line back in the league, dude. Best goal line back in the league. To keep adding on to that, the most 1-yard touchdown catches in NFL history. Davante Adams, number 1 at 15. Jimmy Graham, number 2 at 14. So he just passed up Jimmy Graham for the all-time NFL 1-yard touchdown catch leaders. So that's not even being talked about, right? I mean,
yeah. When I saw that and I commented on it like maybe last week or the week before, I can visually see Megatron, Matthew Stafford throwing to Megatron. Anytime they're that close to the end zone, he would just either throw a slant to him or just throw it up in the air. There's
trusting
no
the hands, right? Yeah, they're trusting the hands. I mean,
and that's exact same thing that is happening here. Is he's throwing it to the spot he knows he's going to make the play, and it's impressive. And I don't know how you stop it.
Yeah, especially when you have Kyren Williams in the backfield that can run it and go somewhere else, and then you have Puka. It's like you can't really double triple him because then you're leaving Puka one-on-one, and Puka will do the same thing to you, right?
Yep.
So to mention Puka though, the receiving touchdowns as a Ram, Puka Nacua 13 total in his career. Davante Adams 12. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. Puka has played 3 seasons with the Rams. Davante has played 11 games. I mean, seriously, that is unbelievable stats. To transition to a different wide receiver here for a couple fun stats. JSN, 1,039 yards in 11 games as a Seahawk. It's the Seahawks franchise record, and he is only about 600 yards away from the NFL receiving record. The NFL receiving record is 1,964. So he's
and he's at 100 plus. He's at 100 plus every game, so he could easily do that.
Yeah. Here's a fun one for you. I wanted to make a graphic for it, but we have so many graphics that already went up on the screen. It's absolutely impossible to get them up here because we're limited on media. There's only so much stuff we could show on StreamYard. But JSN's 17 game pace, right? You'll love this one because it's a Calvin Johnson comparison. JSN 17 game pace, 124 catches, 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. Calvin Johnson's best season in 2012, 122 catches, 1,964 yards, 5 touchdowns. The kicker here, JSN's on pace for 165 targets. Calvin Johnson had 204. So that's where you get into that tricky topic of, well, he's going to play more games. It's like, well, Calvin Johnson's going to get 40 more targets. So that's like that. That's the same thing as with Barkley last year. Was he could have broke the record? They said an extra game, but if you look at the rushing attempts, it was like an extra 50 attempts. It's a tough, it's a tough stat to go up against. But I think one of the most bizarre stats, and Matt, I already had this ready to go, and then you sent it to me this week, and I was like, I texted you back. Yep, it's already in the line for the pod. Christian McCaffrey leads the NFL in receptions. He's got 81 catches. Puka's got 80. JSN's got 80. Trey McBride's got 80. And Jamar Chase has got 79. The biggest takeaway is obviously CMC leading the league in catches with 81. But my second biggest takeaway, which is I text you, was the NFC West. There is a team from every single team in the NFC West in the top 4. I mean, 2 or 3 of them are tied at 80. CMC's at 81. But everything top 4 is literally the NFC West, and then you have Jamar Chase, AFC North. But the NFC West, I mean, is absolutely killing it when it comes to the receiving game. It's truly insane. I mean, it really is. Like,
and then if you want to slide in the Cardinals, if you just do a small sample size of Michael Wilson these past 2 games, I think it's like 25 receptions in 2 games. So if you spread that out. Imagine NFC just running away with these receptions somehow.
Yeah, it's honestly extremely impressive. Whoops. All right, so now it's time to get into it's time to get into the games, right? Thanksgiving,
Turkey Day slate.
Turkey Day slate. Um, yeah, I mean, we got some good ones, man. Because even with, you know, even with the Bengals Ravens, I mean, we're looking at a good divisional matchup here. The one that surprised me with the most, I know the Cowboys always play, but it surprised me a little bit that it wasn't an NFC East team against the Cowboys. I thought maybe it'd be the Commanders,
Yeah, it is weird
or the Giants. Yeah, everything else
how
is
it shook out
division.
like that.
That was one, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, viewership wise, you're going to target Kansas City's audience and Texas, and that's probably like the safer bet when it comes to, you know, I guess getting an audience to
Yeah,
watch.
I'm trying to think, and I could probably look that up real quick, but
Oops.
I think that's the CBS game because normally
Okay.
Lions are the Fox game. So that's probably the CBS game, and I'm wondering why. Maybe that's why the Chiefs are in there because they have that contract. I don't know, but
Okay.
um, yeah, it's weird to see the Chiefs there. Other than you're hitting the fan base and you're hitting all the people at home or with family sitting down for the game. So
Right. Trying to get as many people as you can to tune into your, because that's the tricky one, right? Like that's the game where people are kind of heading home from the in-laws or whatever. You know what I mean? That's a tricky one where people are maybe on the road or like taking that Thanksgiving Turkey Day nap. You know what I mean? So they're
yeah,
trying
are
to
you
get trying
asleep
to
by
make sure
that
that
time?
they're trying to make sure the ratings don't plummet too much here. But the first one, Matt, I'll be honest with you. I picked the Lions, but I picked it for you
Appreciate
because
it.
I know we talked about, but I mentioned to you, and that's what my take was on the Eagles, even though it's a biased take. But my worrisome, even last week, is it's explosive or you lose. And last week it was looking like a loss until it turned into explosiveness. But you can't be that reliant on players being that explosive every single week. There needs to be more of a consistency, and that's why we're witnessing kind of a. It's funny because it's not a downfall season. It's just not your normal season, and I think it's the same thing that even the Eagles struggle with in the last like 3-4 years. Is it's the constant revolving door of coordinators. That's what it is, right? Every year coming in, you're coming with a different identity. These guys want to do this. The players get used to doing that, and it clinks and doesn't go the right way, right? And before it was a smooth, you had the same coordinators, and it was like every season you're building off of Aaron Glenn and you're building off of Ben Johnson. You're going to keep going forward. And Dan Campbell finally got hit with we didn't make it to the NFC Championship, and then I lost both coordinators, and now you're trying to piece it back together. And so I think that's where you're seeing the inconsistencies from. So you still have time to make up for it, but this game specifically, it just worries me because Green Bay really wants to come in, knock you guys out, and hope that the Eagles can take out the Bears, and then take that number one spot back at the NFC North. And I mean, I don't know. Isn't there a stat like you guys have lost the most on Thanksgiving? I think you would know that or something. I'm not jabbing you. I
Yeah,
think isn't there
yeah,
like
no,
yeah,
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 we talked about it last year. I mean, obviously, when you play, you started the Thanksgiving Day tradition, right? So you have the most Thanksgiving Day
right.
games. So yeah, you have the chance at it. But yeah, it was I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but I want to say it's like either we're at like a 12 game deficit on win losses, but it's one of those things where as a tradition, right? And now that the organization's in the right direction, I think these are the games, especially divisional, where you have to win this one against Green Bay. Is I think we can get the crowd into it again. You could again you could hear how loud it was against the Giants, but that was just a weird game. I think this is the type of atmosphere you need against the Packers. Another cool thing we didn't talk about, you had the Eagles player coming out of retirement. Now the Lions have a player coming out of retirement. Frank Ragnow, All Pro center.
As of what, like 6 hours ago? It was like very
Yeah,
like
so this was the deadline to be able to now play in the playoffs if you are on the roster. So they made the decision. He says he's good to go. I don't know if it's a simple safety mechanism. I don't know if there's an injury looming for Glasgow? I don't know, but it is kind of cool because he was a staple there at center. So it is cool to see him, wanting to play football again.
Right.
So no, this is a huge game. All eyes are on you, Detroit. I mean, you got to step up in a game like this in a divisional matchup, against a great defense. And, Green Bay, I know you talked about it before. Their offense is weird with Josh Jacobs coming back off of injury. I think he'll be ready to go too. So this is gonna be a tough matchup. I'm just hoping that the Thanksgiving Day crowd
Yep.
is what kind of propels them into a nice win here.
Yeah, that's literally my take on it. Was they're home. I love Detroit at home, but I really my thing that scares me the most is that Green Bay's defense reminds me of Philly, and Philly really shut you guys down and really mess things up. I just was trying to take them for you, and then because I know you literally always take the Eagles. I'm like I can't be that guy that like goes against them. But I mean realistically, I do like Detroit at home. And if you're Detroit, this is what you want. You want to play on Thanksgiving in front of your home city. You want to play. You don't want to
Yep.
be on the road. You want to be. You got this game. You want to give them another reason to give it to you next year again. You know what I mean? To give it, put on a show. Gibbs is going to be hungry again. It's like they want to have that turducken, celebration towards the end, and
Yeah.
I mean that's what they want. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a really good one that I think everyone's going to want to sit down and watch. And then the next game, though, Kansas City at Dallas. Matt, you're against Kansas City again. I mean, we saw Kansas City last week pull it out against the Colts.
I know. I thought I was a genius again. I almost predict that, and they win it. Kansas City wins it in OT.
Yep.
So
I'm saying Kansas City they always find a way out, and I don't know. I don't trust Dallas enough. I know they got it done. That last year's their Super Bowl though, or last week's their Super Bowl. It's like it's different when they play us compared to other teams. I don't know. It's gonna be a really interesting game to watch. I think that's why, like we said, it's gonna be people are still gonna want to tune in this game. So it's not gonna plummet the ratings, but it's
here's my two points on this one. Would be Dallas showed both times against the Eagles, right? Is the second half is where kind of the game changed, right? Normally the second half is where Kansas City finds a way. However the game plays out, second half, they'll get it done. At halftime, Andy Reid's going to make the adjustments, whatever. So that's the success that the Cowboys just saw. I think that could propel them here. The second thing is, because this is going to have millions of people watching it on Thanksgiving, you can't have a blatant referee decide the game.
You can though, and that's what's gonna happen.
They're going to have to be, it's going to have to be.
They've done it on the biggest stages, dude. They did it on the Super Bowl. You don't think they can do it on Thanksgiving?
No, I think they're going to make a decision that they have to be a little bit more coy about it.
Yeah. See,
so,
I like your take. I think mine was the opposite perspective of that. Was Dallas is a second half team. My worry for them in this one on a real note is Kansas City gets up so much on them in the first half, and they do get better in the second half that I don't know if Dallas is. How some teams lay off the gas like the Eagles did in the second half? Kansas City's not really that team. They usually will, like you said, they make the adjustments. They're better second half team than they are first half team. So if Kansas City gets up a little bit too much, I mean, they are very smart. They will just milk the clock out, and Dallas won't have that chance to. I mean, they'll rip off a 10-minute drive, right? I mean, so that was my biggest scare is Dallas coming out flat. But who knows? Maybe Dallas comes out hot because they just came off a divisional win, and for them, that was a win for them that they feel like is turning around their season because they got 6 games to go.
Yeah, they're kind of in that do or die spot now.
I mean, they can end up being 11-5-1. So that's the way they look at it, right?
Yep.
So and they don't have to play us anymore. So, but then we got the night game. Burrow back in Baltimore. The interesting thing is the last time we saw Jamar Chase play Baltimore is when he had like 20-something catches against them with Joe Flacco under center. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think he's getting 20 catches or 20-something targets. I'm sorry, not catches, but 22, 20, whatever the hell it was, targets. I don't think he's getting that with Joe, but
he might. I mean, T. Higgins out because of that concussion.
Right.
Do you hyper focus Jamar Chase like Joe Flacco did, or do you spread it out? Do you rely on the run game?
Right.
It's going to be interesting how you game plan, especially because you want to protect him. coming back. Your franchise quarterback. You got to be careful. You can't let him get hurt again. So, yeah, we both still sided with the Ravens here, even with the exciting news that he's coming back. Derrick Henry is getting it done again. It's nice to see that he's kind of stepping up again. But I mean, the downside is Lamar is just not looking like the MVP.
I don't know if he's still like 100%. I think the season was slipping away, and he was like, I'll come back. Like, I just let me, because just him under center is more of a threat. I mean, we're seeing Henry just dominate after he comes back, and I think teams scheme Lamar, and he's not there. But the thing is, they're a strong enough team where he just has to be present, and I think that's kind of what we're witnessing right now. Is they just need to get to right this ship before it got way too bad, and then it couldn't be be corrected. So yeah, I agree. I think it's still impressive they've strung out this many wins in a row. And I don't know, I think this could end up being a shootout though, and I think that's why we see 51.5 is Joey B and Lamar. I mean, there might be some fireworks on Thanksgiving night. And then we have a Black Friday game. The Eagles and Bears alliance is officially over. There's rumors that we might just tie this game. We won't just score. We're gonna go out there and just kneel every snap.
Okay,
that would be interesting. Do you think the NFL would do something?
I mean, they have to, right?
We just went out there. They like sponsor this big Black Friday.
No,
Amazon
I think
Prime, and then they just go out there and kneel every single drive.
No, Bezos would send out a drone and do something because this is his. It's funny. Thanksgiving, steals his Thursday night Prime game. So how creative are they that they shifted over to a Black Friday game still on Prime? Right, that's genius.
People are home for a long weekend. I mean, it's just it's a genius idea.
I like the concept. But I mean, this has got to be an exciting game. You think, especially Eagles coming off that just awful second half, losing to their nemesis, the Cowboys. So, I think this one would be a cool one to see the Eagles just absolutely. By the way, you called it. I said 125. You said 100 yards out of AJ Brown. He got 110. So I'll give you the victory.
Round
there,
down.
but we did both see it. I mean, it was he played well. It's just the Eagles got to figure out. Maybe it's just because it was the Cowboys, like you said. They just play them differently. I didn't like that second half again. The Eagles need to find a way to.
I mean, the thing is like not because but like it's so frustrating because you look at the stat line and you see Brown had a good game, Devontae Smith had a good game. Jalen Hurts 289, no turnover rate, and it's like, and then obviously we had I don't know how I'm gonna go on a rant because I don't know how you sign a guy though in Xavier Gibson who has fumbled 38% of his touches in the NFL. That's a stat, 38% of his touches, and then what does he do on a kick or on a punt? Fumbles it. Why? I don't understand. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah,
like,
that was embarrassing.
But why do you? I mean, that's a huge. There's 5 minutes left in the game.
Yeah,
that's the Eagles' scheme is literally get the ball, milk the clock, and you don't get another chance.
Yep.
So, and then the other frustrating thing is our offensive coordinator thinks that it's smart to run a fucking draw play on 3rd and 9. It's like, so my thing is you can't fire an offensive coordinator when you're 8-3. It just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work out that way. But if you look at if you watch a game, you can see how bad the play calling is. It's like it just doesn't make any sense how Kevin Patullo is still an offensive coordinator for us. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, you just can't fire an offensive coordinator who's 8-3. Who's ever done that before? Yeah. Nobody. Like, you can't, because then you're sending a message to any other future offensive coordinator that even if you're 8-3, we'll still fire you. Like, so it's just, I don't know. It's tough. But I will say this, +7 for the Bears. I like that. Black Friday, dude. Like, the Bears are playing good football. The Eagles are pretty inconsistent. I mean, they're at home. I always like Philly at home. I mean, I love Philly at home. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think we're going to blow them out. I mean, I know you'd love to see it, and obviously I would love to see it, no doubt about it. But, it depends. The Bears, last week, they had like no linebackers. So they're pretty banged up on the defensive side of things. So if it gets crazy, I mean, you could see Barkley have a huge game here. The one thing I love is the Eagles are bringing out the All Blacks for Black Friday. So they're wearing
Nice.
all
Okay.
black helmets, black pants, literally black top to bottom. So it's
Okay.
gonna be pretty cool. I love that they're gonna do that. So we'll see if any other teams bring out some special jerseys. I mean, maybe the Cowboys will bring out some. I like their old school ones. I know it's
I
probably
hope
forbidden to.
I hope Green Bay doesn't wear their stupid, 100th anniversary ones or whatever the heck those, ones are. I mean, ours are fine because it looks general, except for the helmets, just all
Am I seeing
silver.
this right?
What's that?
Are you?
Absolutely. Hey, I was right last week, so we're going on a streak.
This isn't.
No, we're going on a streak. Go Browns.
I think that is the most shocking pick that you've ever had on this podcast.
No, listen. After seeing Purdy I don't even know what he was doing out there. With this Browns defense, I think Browns have a shot here.
I'm stunned. This is by far your biggest upset pick that you've ever taken on the pod.
I think so too.
Okay. I'm not saying it's a bad one. I genuinely thought we messed the graphic up.
No.
You're always the safe bet. You always go safe bet and then give the take on the other side. This is what it shocks me. Wow.
Yeah.
Are you a Browns fan? Lift up your shirt. It's just like go Browns.
No, you know what? And it is sad because it is Michigan Ohio State week. They do have the Saturday game. So after that'd be before this one, right? We've got the Thursday, the Friday.
Man, could you imagine the weekend you're setting yourself up for, dude? Lions lose on Thanksgiving. Ohio State beats Michigan on Saturday, and then the Browns fucking lose. That would be like the worst case scenario for you. I'm gonna be texting you okay, buddy? No, I can see it, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a little bit. I think they're getting a little bit overhyped on Shedeur. I mean, you beat the Raiders, right? It's like,
well, and I did write down his stats because I thought
it was a Judkins,
Well, and Rock Sampson was
that was huge.
Was the huge. So he was 11 for 20. So they really kind of kept the ball out of his hands for the most part, right? 209 yards. 3 receptions went for 157. So out of those 11, 3 of them went for the 157. That's
what I mean. So eight completions for 50 yards, and it was a 50% completion percentage. That's what, and most of those were literally like, and then he makes a thing of just like letting Cleveland know that I'm the guy you guys need. It's just like, dude, you just beat like the 2-10 fucking Raiders and barely beat them.
Yeah, no, it was the defense that propelled them. And again, after seeing Purdy just absolutely,
I know.
Dominate. I think that the Browns.
I think the 49ers are such a strong team, especially defensively. You saw what they made Bryce Young we just talked about how he had 450 yards the week before and broke a franchise record, and then he looked like completely lost against a 49ers defense that's missing Bosa and Wagner, but they're still, looking that good. And it's like Brock Purdy's not going to throw 3 interceptions again. And even if he does, they still won by a clear shot. Like they threw 3 picks and still beat them by 2 2-point, or not 2-point game, but I mean they still beat them clearly, right? I mean it's just tough when you have CMC and Kittle and you're getting all those guys, but yeah, I legitimately thought when we went to the screen that we just messed up where your name was at, and I was like, wow, that's insane. And then unfortunately we got a couple in this week that it's just like, man, not much to talk about here. This is the Jags Titans one. Not much to talk about. Like we said, Jags are sneaking up in the AFC South there. And if you're the Titans, you're just kind of going to lose every game and let the other teams that are stupid enough to win and just take it, and just take the number 1 pick and move on, right? Then we got the Colts Texans. This is kind of an important game for the Colts, though, because like you mentioned, do you keep CJ Stroud out another week because Davis Mills is winning more than he was? Because if you're the Texans, you win this game, you're back in the hunt. I mean, because we're getting Jags here, right? Jags are winning; they're 8-4. So if you're the Colts, you have to win to go 9-3. If you don't, you're 8-4 now with the 8-4 Jags, so you're tied. Then Texans are 7-5. They're a game back. So it's a really big game for the Jags. It's really a big game for everyone besides the Titans in the NFC South. Because, like, I mean, win-loss here for those 3 teams is huge. So the way I look at it is it's going to be a real interesting test for the Colts here. You lose to KC last week in a game that they probably should have won, right? So how do you bounce back, and how do you play against one of the top 3, top 5 defenses in the league? You know, how do you respond? How does your offense look? If this is because this could be a playoff game. I mean, it could be a wild card game between these 2 teams, right? And if they're a division, they can make the same, same spot in the AFC. So this is your first playoff matchup where, hey, we gotta bounce back after a bad week and play a really good defense. And this is the games that scare me the most with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I mean, because the Texans looked dominant, their defense-wise against the Bills, right? So they can do that against Daniel Jones and the Colts too.
Right.
So it's a huge test. The balance to me, you kind of talked about when we talked about the stat leaders, right? Is I think JT can still get through and still make the difference. And then it's one of those things. Can Daniel Jones be a winning quarterback? And what happens here is when your back's against the wall against a good defense like this, are you going to find Pittman? Are you going to get it done? And to me, the answer was yes. And I love them at home here. That's another thing that I think in a close game like this might decide it. As long as your owner is got a headset on and on the sideline, I think you win this game for her.
Absolutely. And then, another unfortunate one, Dolphins playing the Saints. The Saints are just,
And then the sneaky thing you were talking about, Taysom Hill. What did you say his odds were?
He was plus 135. He was the leading Saints.
To me, that's insane.
Over Olave and over any running back. Like, he was the leading.
Alvin Kamara out. So it is interesting that they're going to say,
they're probably going to be using that running back, tight end, quarterback. It's going to be that weird. It's just going to be that weird week now, though. It's going to be that weird week where all of a sudden he's got 3 touchdowns. He does it every year. Like, where it's like Taysom Hill, if you started him like randomly on a flex because you were just desperate, he like won you the week, and now you're in playoffs. Like, that's just how it is.
That's how it's set up this week. It might be a weird one, but we're sticking with the Dolphins.
Yeah, got to pick the Dolphins there. Another one, Falcons. I mean, it's. I don't know. I mean, I took him last week and they won.
Right? I mean,
and Kirk Cousins didn't look terrible, right? I mean, it wasn't like.
Yeah, really needs Drake London back to make it a well-rounded offense.
Supposedly he's trying to be back. But I mean, for the most part, they did enough to get the job done, and I feel like they have enough power here to at least defeat the Jets.
I hate that if the books think it's that close against the Jets.
I know. Trust me.
Nobody has confidence in them, but
hey, our parlay hit last week, and it was me taking the Falcons money line.
True. So I mean, we should have all the confidence.
So we as the podcast kept going on, we kept, because they were plus 100 when we took them. We kept telling ourselves it was a good pick, and it ended up being a good pick. So maybe minus 2.5 might not be a bad pick. But Cardinals at the Bucks. Matt, you're going early with the Cardinals here. Another one. It's kind of that weird, like we said, that Cardinals team is a super weird team. My take on it is, like I said, Baker's going to play. You're going to get Bucky back. Egbuka's still been great. So this is one where you gain that extra guy back. You still got Rachaad White playing good football. Sean Tucker still playing good. So even if Bucky's just in there to just make a difference on a couple of different plays, I think it could be enough to bring him over the top. But this is a game. We just looked at the standings. We looked at the playoff picture. If you're the Bucks, you see the Panthers sneaking up on you. You got to get this one. The Cardinals are 3-8. You're at home in Tampa. If Baker plays, this is without a doubt a Buccaneers game, and they clear minus 2.5 by a mile.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what, in my mind, I really think that they're going to give him the week off. I mean, he's got so much toughness to him, so I don't doubt that they'll give him the shoulder injection and get him out there. But like you said it, that you're alliterative, Bucky's back for the Bucks is a huge factor, having him back there with a wounded Baker. So to me, we talked about it probably the last 2 weeks. It's Jacoby Brissett back there. He does something for the Cards. They've got that confidence. Even if they're not winning those games, they're in the games. They've got a chance. So I really like what Jacoby Brissett's doing with Trey McBride, and then now with who would have known, standout Michael Wilson. So it's just one of those games where I'm going to look dumb if Baker is back, Bucky back, and they just absolutely dominate. But to me, I think they've put together enough these past couple weeks of almost that I'm just finally making that jump to them, and I'm going to take them this week because I think everything's kind of lining up to where they're going to win one of these.
Yeah, this is the one that everything kind of falls their way.
Yep.
You mentioned Michael Wilson, but another guy we haven't even mentioned his name. But since Marvin Harrison obviously had that surgery, whatever that was, what was it,
appendectomy,
or
yep.
whatever happened. Greg Dortch, back-to-back weeks, week on wide receiver 12, wide receiver 14. Last week, got a guy go out in a league that I'm competing for a playoff spot. I thought it was done. I picked up Greg Dortch because he was just on the waivers. 2 weeks ago, 18.6. Last week, 16.8. Both games, 6 catches, 60 yards, 50 yards, back-to-back weeks, touchdown. So, I think Marvin Harrison is back this week. I believe he is because Greg Dortch's points went down to 3.5 projection. So I'm assuming that has to do with Marvin Harrison. I could double check that, but if you're desperate, we know that playoffs are sneaking up here. Marvin Harrison, he's still questionable, but he was back at practice today, which Wednesday. So it's his first time that he has been back at practice. So he's probably trending in the right direction. But that's something to keep an eye out on, especially going into this game, because you might see Marvin Harrison put up 100+ yards if he does come back and it's good to go because Jacoby Brissett is slinging it. And if he's getting guys like Greg Dortch 60 yards and a touchdown back-to-back weeks, we'll have no problem giving Marvin Harrison some love in that one. But then we have the Rams at Carolina. I don't like taking spreads higher than I like the 2.5. That's unless I'm really confident, a 5.5. But I think I'm comfortable enough to take -10. That's how much space I have in the Rams right now.
I was gonna say, is it down on the Panthers or is it up on the Rams? Because
I think a little bit of both. Because Bryce Young comes off that. You're talking about a banged up 49ers defense, and you can't do anything in a game where Purdy turns the football over 3 times, and the Rams are just, dude, they are scary right now. They deserve to be the number 1 seed because I genuinely think Stafford wins MVP if he keeps it up. And it sucks because I would like to see Drake May win MVP because I put money down on that, or Herbert, right? But I think the way that Stafford's trending and the way that offense is going, I think Devontae, it was such a weird take too. Cooper Kupp gets sent out and then Devontae Adams comes in. It's like that's weird. You just got an older wide receiver for more money. That doesn't make any sense. But leave it alone. Sean McVay does something crazy. And he knew, like you said,
they knew what they want, that piece they wanted.
That's the guy. Clearly through 3 seasons, 13 touchdowns for Puka. It really isn't that much. You know what I mean?
He's more the intermediate. He's more the running
so
those routes.
Red zone. You get the red zone guy, and you clearly see what happens. They're closing games out by a long shot. So we both love the Rams here without a doubt. Another game that's in. Go ahead.
All the confidence in Stafford.
Yeah.
The only thing, kind of what you're telling me, the only thing that scares me here with the Panthers is clearly they did something wrong last week. They did not look like they're, with that many turnovers.
And the coach, Dave Canales, he literally said, the way they looked at it was they thought they saw something. Excuse me. Obviously, I'm sick. They saw something after the week that Bryce Young had, the 450, whatever, that they really liked against the 49ers with banged up secondary. And then it just didn't fall into play. But then they kind of just abandoned the run game. And like I told you, Rico Dotto was averaging 6.8. Yeah, they gave him 8 carries.
That's what I don't understand. How do you saw his dominance?
Guys don't get 20 carries though, Matt.
Yeah, you saw his dominance. So what? Even if you saw something in the receiving game, You
You're
cannot.
an NFL head coach. Don't you know that the run game opens up the pass game? You hand the ball off to Rico Dowdle 20 times a game. 20
bad.
times. When he's tired, you bring Chuba in, you run a pass play. How hard is that?
Right.
I mean, I'm a gamer. That's what I do for a living, and I feel like I could run an offense in the NFL. Like, it's literally like it should be. It's
And
mind
then
boggling.
just like you said, and then guess what? Now when they actually stack the box and they try to stop the run, now go ahead and throw it to Tedero McMillan for a touchdown. It's that easy. But for some reason, they decide to just completely change up the game plan.
Yeah, and they have a good tight end too. I don't know, Sanders maybe it is, Javon Sanders maybe or something like that. Like they have a good young tight end and he's quick. And it's like, I mean, dude, like it doesn't. I mean, it would help Bryce out. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I think they'll bounce. I think they'll have a better week offensively, hopefully. But man, it is like beating your head against a brick wall when you watch some of these offenses. It's like they go in and they have one play call sheet and it's like, this isn't working. We're gonna lose. It's like, how about we just shift things? Like, how about the plays we ran last week where we run them again? Like, these guys know the plays, just call them.
Yep.
Like, it's not hard. So, but I mean, the Vikings here, dude, they actually might have a undrafted rookie play.
It's so sad to see, especially since, I know it's your dynasty, right? I mean, you were ready to have your Michigan man as your next
He's my third guy, but yeah.
But I mean,
I needed him 1 week, and unfortunately, he put up 70 yards when I needed him because he was on Herbert bye. So that was the one time I really needed him.
That's what it was. So
yeah,
I mean, I'll speak for myself first. I thought he had a chance to be able to do something great in this offense. It is not looking good right now.
Especially if this undrafted rookie comes in and he just throws 200 yards.
Yeah, because you can in that offense, you should be able to do some work to Jefferson, to Addison. It's weird that it's not meshing correctly, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Jefferson has literally put up 1,000 yards with 20 quarterbacks. So, I mean, I don't know if you saw his stats. He was like, we showed the top 5. He's like 9, 8, I think. So, I mean, but most of those were with Carson Wentz. So that doesn't also help the case out when Carson Wentz is performing better than you in 2025. So we'll see. I don't know. I know a lot of Vikings fans are really wanting not JJ McCarthy to start, like just anyone, right? But an interesting game here, Matt, honestly, is the Bills at Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh is still trying to basically. I mean, they lost last week, but they're trying to basically say that we're gonna win the AFC North, and the Bills basically are doing everything not to win the AFC East. So I don't know, man. I really don't. It goes to show you with the coordinator stuff, man. I feel like it is like day to day with their coordinator. He's like honestly, the Bills, Lions, and Eagles have a very similar situation going on. We're only a game up by you guys. We're 8-3. You guys are 7-4, right? But our offenses either come out and it's like, holy fuck, no one in the league can stop this.
Yep.
And then the next week we lose to like the fucking 0-14 Saints. It's like there's just, I mean, same thing with you guys though. It's like it's either the most dominant thing ever, and you're like, we figured it out, and then next week it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, we almost lost to the Giants. So I mean,
you guys should have. You absolutely should have.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what I mean, and it's scaring me for the Bills. I'm still taking them without a doubt, but it does make me so nervous, because I think if they're playing those weeks that they played and it was like, holy shit, like this is the Bills, you're looking at a -10, -7.5 spread here. Easy. Like, but even the books know that like the Steelers could come out and beat the Bills if the Bills just don't come out as the Bills. And it's like, I know that's super easy to say, but it's starting to the point where we're getting late in the season. It's a little nerve-wracking for the Bills, because it's like you're running out of time, and I feel like that's a team where you give them the number 1 seed, it's going to be really tough to play in Buffalo, like come later in those those later playoff games where, I mean, that winter snow, I mean, you could have a snow game with them, and they love it. That's what Josh Allen's there for. So I mean, they're really slimming their chances down on a Super Bowl chance here.
Yeah, Steelers are looking good. I mean, whether it's Jalen Warren or Gainwell, you need Aaron Rodgers back. You know, I assume he's coming back because it is his left hand injury. All things are pointing for him to be back at the helm. I think they're a completely different football team. You know, you can't have Rudolph back there again. So this is gonna be a tough matchup. I don't know. I to me, I easily sided with the Bills in the sense that they're another team that has to get moving in the right direction. They can't keep losing these tough games. You know, the Texans defense, what separated last week, is it the Steelers defense that can step up? You know, TJ Watt is a beast. So you got to look out for him here. But
Yeah,
at
the
the end of
Steelers, they got to play for perfect football here if they're gonna.
I think so too.
Yeah, and it just really hasn't been there. They can. We've seen them play it, and we're like, are they a playoff team? Like, so they can do it. And so look out. I mean, if you took the Steelers, I wouldn't call you crazy here. Like, I wouldn't. It's not the worst thing, right?
Yep.
But one you would be crazy for is taking the Raiders over the Chargers. I mean, the Raiders just lost to the Browns, and Shador Sanders did nothing that game. Decided to throw it 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage and let a running back just go to the house.
Yep.
So the Chargers win this game by a long shot. They get back in the win column, which they desperately need. Unfortunately, though, the Broncos play the Commanders, and the Broncos go 10-2. So the Chargers are falling down, but I mean, wild card spot, right? So that's what you're aiming for. Things still can still happen to the Broncos, especially with how inconsistent they are. But we do love the Broncos in this one. Little teaser, we have something to do with the Broncos in our parlay, which did hit last week, like we said. So we are most definitely in the green this season doing the parlay. So that is awesome. And then we cap our football week for week 13 off with a Monday Night Football game of the 2-10 Giants and the 10-2 Patriots.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Obviously, we're taking the Patriots. But with that being said, we can show you guys our parlay. Matt, you are going to go with Devon Achane, anytime touchdown. We love that against the Saints.
Playing the Saints, that's who you want to target to me. So
nice low odds. Yeah, nice low odds. I think they'll bump up some more once you get closer to Sunday. We got it at -165. I took RJ Harvey. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins still out, +100 for RJ Harvey when we bet this. But +221. $50 wins 160. So like I said, we're in the green. We got back on the right track. Last week, it cleared easily, man. I mean, St. Brown got a touchdown right away. And then the Falcons, we took the money line there, right? So, I mean, they just it wasn't even a close game at any point. So we're looking to get both these. You know, I think what the Dolphins will play that like middle afternoon, and then or that afternoon slate, and then the Broncos play obviously Sunday night. So it'll be a later afternoon game, so you'll have plenty of time to, if you're listening to this later on, you could still sneak this bet in and hopefully win with us. But Matt, happy Thanksgiving, man. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. I know one thing that I'm thankful for is to be able to do this. Even though it's not the biggest podcast in the world, and we don't really have any intentions on it being that, there still are people that tune in every single day. But for me and you, Matt, it's a way for me and you to talk about football, which is something that we love, and it's grown our friendship. And it's really just something we've enjoyed doing. And the fact that people want to tune in and listen to it and have our crazy takes, like some of us taking the Browns or the 49ers, we're all accepted around here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, on a real note, man, it's just awesome to be able to do. It's something that I look forward to every week. And it's fun doing it when you're doing it with, a good friend of yours. And I'm just glad that there's more people tuning in every single time. And like I said to you, is we had some fun with the thumbnail this week. And we hope that, we're hoping that this week, the way we're setting it up with posting this a little early and then going into the Black Friday, we're going to get a bunch of clips posted. And we're hoping that it's going to break our all-time podcast episode viewership record, which is, I think, like 147, 152, like in that range. So we'll see if we can get it done. But other than that, Matt, I don't know if you got anything else you want to say.
Just big matchup on Saturday. Go Blue.
Go Blue. Oh, wow. Just go Blue. No, nothing on the Lions on Thanksgiving. No, just go Blue. All right.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. All right. Well, you guys have a good Thanksgiving. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week. Later.
See ya.